life ain't easy. Life ain't fair. A girl's gotta fight for her rightful share. What you gonna do when the chips are down? Now that the chips are down. What you gonna do when the chips are down? Now that the chips are down. Help yourself. To hell with the rest. Even the one who loves you best. What you gonna do when the chips are down? Now that the chips are down. What you gonna do when the chips are down? Now that the chips are down. Oh, my aching heart. What you gonna do when the chips are down? Now that the chips are down. Take if you can, give if you must. Ain't nobody but yourself to trust. What you gonna do when the chips are down? Now that the chips are down. What you gonna do when the chips are down? Now that the chips are down. Aim for the heart. Shoot to kill. If you don't do it, then the other one will. What you gonna do when the chips are down? Now that the chips are down. What you gonna do when the chips are down? Now that the chips are down. And the first shall be first, and the last shall be last. Cast your eyes heaven. You get a knife in the back. Nobody's righteous. Nobody's proud. Nobody's innocent. Now that the chips are down. Now that the chips are down. A girl's gotta fight for her rightful share. What you
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hi, tonight and for the next couple of weeks, we're going to be playing The Riot Starts, which is a game by Riley Rethall. It's a TTRPG based on the incredible musical Hadestown. It focuses on community building and revolting against the oppressive capitalist hell of the underworld. And just so you know, you can find this game and more by Riley Rethall at her itch.io page at metagame.itch.io. I lost my page. Sorry about that. Great. So this is not a place of life. Smoke and dust litter the air. Lines and lines of factories are all you can see when you can even see. There is no sky, no star, no sun, no moon. There is only work forever. Maybe some temporary solace comes in the form of bootleg wine, or flowers, or throwing a week's wage down the drain for a chance to see the sky. Besides that, it comes from those around you if you're lucky. But it doesn't have to be this way, and that's the most important thing. My name is Zoe. My pronouns are they, she, and I will be playing Lorna Lee, whose pronouns are she, her. Her playbook is The Canary, which is based on the myth of Eurydice. Lorna Lee came to the underworld on the whispered promises of steady wages and a full stomach. What she found instead was a life that no longer belonged to her. It now belongs to the bosses and the masters. She still has those whispers in the back of her mind trying to guide her actions even still. Each day is a decision on whether to keep following them or to go her own way. Each playbook comes with a backstory question, and for the Canary, that question is, what is the one material thing you cannot live without, and who or what took it from you? And for Lorna, she arrived in the underworld wearing a silver locket around her neck with a picture of her sister safely tucked away inside. But there came a time where Lorna was desperate for some kind of comfort and traded her locket away for a drop of wine. She realized she had forgotten to take the picture out, and now her sister's face is starting to fade from memory. And that's what Lorna has lost. And we'll keep going down the line. Please, everyone else, introduce yourselves and your characters. Starting with Elliot.
Hi, I'm Elliot. I use they, them pronouns, as well as my character Rook uses they, them pronouns, and I'm playing the character playbook of the Orphic. Rook is, well, was a traveling musician, and they're not supposed to be here in Hadestown. They came to the underworld, and it was a long trek, and they arrived at the gates, and they came looking for someone to bring them back. And while it might not end up being that simple, the backstory of Rook is they have an incredible talent that allowed me to travel this way down. And they actually are looking for their childhood friend who they heard is in Hadestown that they are very desperate to try to bring back. So,
Wonderful.
yep.
Raven.
Hey everyone, I'm Raven Kennedy. I use she, her pronouns. I am playing Rowan Chandler, who uses.
You muted.
Great. Swapping off of the screen unmutes me 1 second while I undo that.
No
Yep.
worries.
There we go. So, Rowan Chandler uses he, they pronouns, and I am using the playbook of the Rebel. Rowan died defending an ideal, died doing what they truly believed was right, but it only led them to another land of corruption and tyranny. And they're sure as heck not going to stop fighting now. They believe that in their world, everyone deserves a place to be safe. And they're not going to let that go just because it's harder to make one down here.
Wonderful. Vin.
Hi guys, I'm Vin Vox. My pronouns are he, they, and I'll be playing Jackal Thomas, whose pronouns are they, them. I'll be playing the cheater, which is based off the myth of Sisyphus. Jackal has managed to evade death a couple of times with either deals or just back handling, and eventually he got caught. He was placed in a chamber of darkness, practically sense deprivation, trying to navigate his way out, and eventually they did. And for the backstory, said you arrived in the underworld with special punishment. There we go. What was it? How did you escape? And how do you carry it with you? They eventually managed to either like scramble some items, or I like to think they found it, which I actually have. It's a lantern. That's what they carry with them, like at all times. It's just a token of the bullshit they went through. And that's them and me.
I love that. I love the prop work. Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel. Pronouns she, her. I am playing Anya Lamb. Pronouns also she, her. The playbook is the engineer. You were brilliant, respected, and capable of creating inventions never imagined. For that, the powerful kept you on a tight chain. It's time to build the future you deserve. And the backstory question there is something or someone from your life you feel like you utterly failed. Who or what is it, and how did you fail them? Anya built a lot of engines and equipment that would have been used in factories with the idea that this would make work easier, only to watch those tools be used to exploit her community, and safety to be disregarded, and even herself a little in her ambition, not paying 100% attention to once she had finished a project and passed it off to the person she bought it from, not really knowing what it was used for, and because of that carries a lot of guilt from the people who are harmed.
Perfect. Great. With all of our characters introduced, the next thing we're going to do is bonds. Each playbook has a bond question that helps us generate dice. The way that the Riot Starts works is that there are community dice and alienation dice. Community dice are generated when people do things that are community-based. They represent unity, understanding, cooperation. You add community dice when you are working together towards a common goal and keeping the interests of everyone in mind. They belong to the community. Alienation dice are the exact opposite. They represent selfishness, insecurity, and individualism. You take alienation dice when you are trying to take power for yourself or feel isolated from your community. When you take an alienation die, you keep it with you. So as we go through these bond questions, we'll answer a question about ourselves and our relationships with each other. And depending on that answer, we'll either generate community dice or alienation dice before we start our game. So for Lorna Lee, for the Canary, the fates are always speaking to you, but so far they've led you astray. If this means you no longer trust others as easily, add an alienation die. If this means you lean on your community for comfort, add a community die. I think Lorna is leaning towards distrust. I think she's been through a lot in her journey down here and been through a lot since then, losing her locket and now starting to lose her memories of the people she cared about up above. I think she no longer trusts others as easily, so I'm going to add a die to my alienation dice. And let's go same order. Elliot, or Rook, what is your bond question? Oh, I think you muted yourself.
I did. Hold on, let me do that. So my bond question is, you came down here to save one of the others. Who was it? And what's your relationship? If you still harbor the hope that the two of you can escape together and leave everyone else behind, take an alienation die. If you fully committed yourself to the ideals to the new fight, add a community die. So I've already schemed this before we started because it just came to me because I thought the drama and the juicy irony would be great. So the person I'm trying to save is Jackal, the Sisyphus character, because they cheated death and they cheated their way all the way down here. And Rook just wants their childhood best friend back because they made a promise to each other. So I think that we're probably going to add another alienation die to the pool, because they're passionate and they just want their friend to be back at the surface with them.
Makes sense. Go ahead and mark an alienation die. Rowan, what's your bond question?
My bond involves finding a sibling in the underworld community, new or actual. And through this journey that I have been sort of chafing at the rules of the underworld, I have, despite it being somewhat of a short time, at least from my side, I feel fairly close to Rook because we both want to change the way things are down here. And it's definitely something that I feel like we both feel very strongly about, like moving forward and pushing to a different place. So I'm going to add a community die.
Great, perfect. Go ahead and mark that on our tracker if you could. Thank you. All right, Jackal, what's your bond question?
Okay, you know another player character's secret. Who? Why did they tell you? If you hold it over them, add an alienation die. If you respect that they told you in confidence, add a community die. I would like to know, Rachel, will that be okay? If
Yeah.
I pick Anya for that? Cool.
Should I just send one outside of this?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
What's the? Okay. I'll send you a secret.
Yeah, I think that's fun. Go ahead and send it privately.
Gotta have some mystery.
And do you hold it over them or do you respect that they told you in confidence?
I'm gonna wait and see what the secret is first.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
All right, where did you send it?
I haven't sent it yet because I also have to go next.
Oh, cool.
So do you want me to go or do you want to wait for a second while we
Oh, you can go ahead.
Zoe?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll decide later.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine. Go ahead. We'll come back to it.
So my bond is one of the others regards you as a sort of mentor who, if you keep a distance for fear of screwing up, take an alienation die. If you embrace it, take a community die. So Lorna, I think, doesn't have necessarily one of the bonds connected to something. Is that something that
Sure. Yeah, the
you-
canary
you
bond.
might be interested in?
Yeah.
Trying to learn how to make stuff?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think it makes sense to see Anya as a mentor figure.
Cool.
In a sea of people she distrusts, there's someone that she distrusts a little less.
Just two very jaded women.
Cool. And do you keep a distance or do you embrace it?
I think I would embrace it because of Lorna being like very distrustful and kind of seeing like a similar mentality of neither of us are going to let this get outside of the two of us. No one is going to be able to take advantage of anything that we kind of would create or anything that I would share with you.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so go ahead and add a community die.
Cool. Cool. And I'm sending that secret over now.
Perfect. Once we have that secret, we'll go back to Jackal and figure out if we have another community die or an alienation die.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab that alienation die real quick. Just one.
Perfect. Amazing.
Oh,
We really got some issues.
Look,
Don't worry
it's a
about
lot
it.
of it's a lot of foundation for good conflict.
I'm very amused that the one who is known for working on their own is the first one to put a community die in the pool.
Yeah. And Anya, you said that you embrace it, right?
I think that in that specific partnership, if not for anyone
you'll-
else.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you won't start with an alienation die.
Oh yeah.
It'll go in the community dice, which I added that on there for you. So we
Great.
have that tracked. Great. Perfect. All right, with bond questions done, we're going to go back to building the underworld. So part of the game, as well as the characters and the relationships with each other, is building the community that we are going to try to start our rebellion in. While building the underworld, we're going to choose 2 to 3 hindrances. We're going to choose 2 to 3 things that we lack and 1 to 2 things that we have. And I'm going to post these in our chat, but I'll also read them out loud as we go. We'll start with the hindrances. So for hindrances, we have the local law enforcement officer with their eye on you, the long commute to and from work every day, the drugs that help you escape till you get hooked, the fear-mongering king who sees you only as tools, the kind queen who convinces the workers they should not strike, the guard dog who snarls at you as you pass, the sight of Elysium in the distance beckoning, the contracts you signed long ago agreeing to work here, the walls that surround this place looming overhead, a once revolutionary song co-opted long ago by your oppressors, and the corrupt judge who cares only for power. So we'll work together to choose, I think 3 hindrances is fun. The more hindrances, the better. Does anything stick out immediately to anyone? Is anyone super passionate about one of these that they really want as a hindrance?
I'd like to throw in for the kind queen for that.
Sure.
Let's
I
go on that
second the
too.
motion.
Sure. The kind
Guarded.
queen who convinces the workers. I like it. I love it.
Do
I'm
love
gonna
some
add that.
Persephone.
So we have our we have our Persephone in the game. Perfect. I really like which one was it? A once revolutionary song co-opted long ago by your oppressors is a really
Same.
neat,
Yeah.
Agreed.
upsetting,
Poetic.
deeply upsetting thing.
Yep. I have like 6 instruments over there. I can bust any of them out for you.
Let's go.
Perfect. And then we just need one more.
Which one was it? Could I possibly suggest the site of Elysium?
I was thinking that too.
Sure. Sight
Sounds
of
good to me.
Elysium in the distance, beckoning.
A lot of yearning going on with
Lot
all
of
of these,
yearning.
I feel
I
like.
love it.
Lot of yearning. Yearning in the characters, yearning in the underworld. Just yearning
Dog
all
was
around.
like this close. I'm just like, but I'd want to pet the dog.
I can't handle it if I don't get to pet the dog. I can't have it in the game.
You know.
That's valid. That's fair. So we have for our hindrances, just one more time, the kind queen who convinces the workers they should not strike, a once revolutionary song co-opted long ago by your oppressors, and the sight of Elysium in the distance beckoning. Next, we're going to choose our lacks and our haves. And again, I will post these in the chat here. And just to go over them, it is the options are meeting spaces, public transport, sight of the sky, a sense of purpose, long distance communication, a common tongue, space to be alone, a way to spread knowledge, childcare, a good reputation, leisure time, community rituals, permission to be vulnerable with each other, a shared understanding of history, an ally at the top, privacy, a safe space from violence, entertainment made for more than profit, and access to non-hierarchical views of the world. So out of those, we'll choose 3 things that we lack and 2 things that we have. So do any of
Alright.
those? Yeah.
I would like to. Oh, go ahead.
Say that again.
I just said go ahead. I didn't mean to. You're good.
Oh. I'm sorry.
You're good.
I think being vulnerable with each other is one that I want
Okay. For a lack or for a have?
for a have.
Okay. Permission to be vulnerable with each other. And Anya, you had one?
Yes, I was gonna say we don't have public transit.
Sure. Sure. No public transport.
This one's a little bit selfish, but I
Mhm.
think lacking a safe space from violence is fairly key to where I was coming from in the beginning here.
Sure. That makes sense. That's not selfish at all. Safe space from violence.
Think-
Oh,
Oh,
go ahead.
unless I think since we have the haves for the permission to be vulnerable with each other, you think it'd be fun to have a lack of alone time?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Oof.
No alone.
I'm
love it.
spicy. I'm sorry.
Boy.
I broke Vin's heart in our DMs a little bit when we were planning.
Mhm.
But then they broke my heart right back, so I'm spicy about this character in this setting.
Sorry. Space to be alone.
Then
Great.
oh wait, okay, there's a half that's left. Mm, if it's cool with everybody, an ally at the top.
Yeah,
Okay,
I like that.
Sounds good.
sure.
So since we're in Hades Town, I have to get Cerberus out.
Hella, I love him.
So, you know,
Aw,
easier.
he's adorable. Cool. So we lack public transport, we lack a safe space from violence, and we lack space to be alone. But what we do have is permission to be vulnerable with each other and an ally at the top. Perfect. And with that, we have built our characters. We have connected them to each other. We have generated our community dice and our alienation dice. And with that, we can start playing. So how the Riot Starts works for everyone watching is each scene gets framed by one player. As a group, we're going to figure out what our first goal is. This could be forming a group in the first place or starting a union with other souls, are examples given in the book. Maybe you're trying to convince an underworld public figure to join your revolutionary cause or writing pamphlets, which is very apt considering we do have an ally at the top. Once we have decided on a goal, one player will begin by framing a scene of our group pursuing that goal. We'll decide what characters are there, where we are, and what we're doing. And at that point, it is just free roleplay. And at the end of the scene, anyone who has activated their die generation move will add a die to the corresponding pool. And anyone who feels they forged a new bond or changed an existing one can move a die from one pool to the other to represent that. So for example, for the Canary, her die generation move is you favor pragmatism over idealism, add dice when you question the methods of those around you. So if I, as Lorna Lee, I'm questioning the methods of those around me for the good of the collective, dice will be added to the community dice pool. If I'm questioning the methods of those around me for selfish reasons or reasons that better me over the whole, dice will be added to my alienation dice pool. And then yes, perfect. So we'll keep going. Everybody will frame a scene. And once everyone has framed the scene and all the scenes have been played out, we will roll for our outcome. And we'll get to that when we get to that based on how many community dice we have and how many alienation dice we have. But for now, let's frame our first scene. Does anyone have a, first we need to figure out what our first goal is going to be. So what do we want our first goal to be? Do we want it to be forming the group together? Do we want to try to tag into the ally at the top? Does anyone have any ideas that jump out at them for our first goal?
It's more of a question.
Sure.
Is Rook already like established in the underworld, or are they just
Yeah,
arriving?
actually, that's a good question. Could I be wandering my way down in?
Because that could work as a first scene, like just arriving.
Yeah, we can absolutely do that. I mean, that can be, we can have our goal being getting this group of people together to start working on revolution with the arrival of Rook. How's that sound? Perfect.
For me.
So do you want to frame that scene, Jackal?
Well, two.
Or Rook, do you want to frame that scene since you're arriving?
Yeah.
Sure.
Cool. So Rook has been traveling the rough path down to Hades Town. They did not take any transportation because, well, there is no transportation. And because they weren't supposed to be there, they listened to their good friend Hermes, who told them how to get to Hades Town, and it was not going to be easy. So they've been like entertaining themselves on the way. And they've just been kind of singing. and they just look and they realize they've arrived. And it's worse than Hermes even described it to them. It looks like everybody is just miserable who's walking around. There's no flavor of anything other than tired and misery. But within that, they see someone who kind of looks familiar, but it's been like 10 years. So they just kind of like are there staring, just kind of eyeing out. Is that Jackal, or is that someone who looks like them? There's a lot of people here.
Of course, it can be for all intents and purposes, but they just see some random mook just staring at them, and it is very uncomfortable, given the state of the fucking world. So they just stare back, like, ready to fight.
They see that they're ready to fight, and they're like, oh god, this is worse than when we were 6. Oh god. And like, they, in that moment, they just yell at them like only a word that they would understand, and the word is serpentine, and they're hoping that nobody throws a fist at them, because it was a cool word when you're 6.
So, funnily enough, we lack a safe space from violence.
We do lack a safe
Yeah.
space from violence.
And they're cracking, they're ready. Something is just, someone is clearly fucking with them as they march up, like, directly to Rook. And they kind of put on this air that is very intimidating, but they look very aloof about it. I'm sorry, you must be new around here. Can I help you? Like standing over them.
Yeah, I imagine Rook is like a short boy or short person. And they're just like, yeah, I'm looking for you.
I'm sorry, why are you looking for me? Do I know you?
You don't remember me?
Am I supposed to remember you? They just like cock their head.
You stopped when I said serpentine.
Yeah, because wait, why the fuck do you care? Wait. No. No. Get out of town. Get out of here. Fuck. And they just
I'm trying to.
Rook.
Yeah.
Rook, what? And they take their hand and like give them a shove. And like it's less forceful the second, third, fifth time because now they're just like poking at them to make sure they're real. What the hell?
I just like
here?
after the few pokes, they poke them back because it's kind of like this thing that they did, and then they embrace them in a hug.
You're not supposed to be here
Nope.
unless you are.
No.
You died. Okay, this makes no sense at all. Congratulations, you stumped me of all people.
A habit of that lately, actually. So I came back from tour and I checked in with Hermes because you know Hermes. He knows all the things. I need to know what I'm missing.
Of course. Still doesn't make
And
any sense.
he told me you were here. Why are you here? You do everything but try to avoid to be here. I've saved you from being here.
See, that's not our problem right now. Our problem is you. You you're gonna get stuck here permanently if you keep playing around with whatever game you're doing right now.
I'm always playing games. And I
This
can
is
win
not a
them. I'm
Understand.
bringing you back.
game. Still got that wild sense of humor.
I'm not
taking me
joking.
anywhere. I don't know, fella. This place is a little ridiculous.
I could tell.
But we should.
Everybody
No, go on.
everybody here has the same kind of, well, you still have your spark, but everybody here does not have a spark.
No shit. Okay, we need to get you out of public view and like they hook an arm around Rook and just take him in a direction. Like
Rook follows.
just not here.
Whoop, your friend is the one with the blue hair.
Blue hair and pronouns.
Oh no, I stereotyped myself.
Okay. I do want to take this like second to invite anybody else in the scene.
Yeah.
'cause
Be good.
So as you guys are walking, you see probably the one like loud spark of life that Jackal, you're probably pretty used to seeing me around. I'm never quiet, but I'm not. I ain't like the others. It's just a little knot of people with one person in the center louder than everyone else. Like, and their voice carries. Like, no, I'm telling you, it's something we have to do together. We'll never be able to do this on our own. If we band together, we can make this work. We can change. We can make a space that we can all have as a space together to be away from all of this, to, I don't know, exist.
Perfect. Jackal's still like maneuvering Rook all around the place, but as soon as they hear Rowan, they kind of like let go of Rook and peel through the crowd just to grab Jack up from Jackal to grab Rowan by the shoulder. I might need to borrow you. Are you done preaching?
When am I ever? What do you need?
Well, let's just see. And they're just maneuvering Rowan to Rook. This is my best friend and a problem. Rook, Rowan, Rook. Mangle. I need to think.
Yeah, that's always how you leave someone somewhere, isn't it? Pleasure, Rook.
Nice to meet you. You said Rowan?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. 2 R's. Ready and ruin.
I like you.
I like
Alright.
you too.
So what got you down here?
Yeah, well, that's why we need to speak to somewhere, not here.
Yeah. That's
Oh.
There's too many.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you see, and anyone can for point of order, anyone can pick up like the NPCs and the other powers and figures in the underworld. But I think as you three are gathering around having this conversation, the other workers that Rowan was preaching to are starting to notice and starting to stare at Rook, because Rook is new and Rook is clearly not what's the word? Spirit broken like they should be.
Dead inside. No.
Yeah.
They're used
And
to seeing
as we-
me. Someone else new is
Yeah, Rowan's Rowan. They're used to Rowan, but someone new with that spark is attention drawing. And as we stated before, we lack space to be alone, so this is just happening probably in the middle of everyone going back to the assembly line that Rowan had pulled them from moments ago, I think. So yeah, you are getting stares from the other workers.
You have a
Alright.
room, Jackal?
Oh, let's see. That's one of the problems. No, we don't. This is as much as you get. I'm pretty sure there's another shadowy corner somewhere we can cower to.
Yeah. Let's find Shadowy Corner. Shadowy Corner. I don't know. I don't know if you have like dorms or I don't know how hell works.
Maybe surprise you and me both. They're looking for like a stairwell or, like I said, creepy corner to just skulk in for a second.
we
Yeah.
can I mean there's all sorts of nooks and crannies around here, but nowhere really safe per se.
Yeah, come on. And Jackal's actually looking for Anya, just like peering up and down and whatever other preposition to see where she's at.
Yeah, can we like take this moment to like cut
Yeah, let's
to another
totally.
scene of like
Let's do it.
Okay.
let's close out that scene. So before we move on to another frame scene, we need to check to see if anyone used their dice generation move. So out of Jackal, Rook, and Rowan, do either of you think that you generated dice during that scene?
Let me look at my sheet again.
I think well, okay, let's put this to the group here.
Mhm.
Rowan being loud and being vocal about all of this and him being, a shit stirrer isn't really anything new.
Mhm.
But it is absolutely, acting in a way that will impact others and letting others know your objections. So how do we think that falls? Is it too normal for them or is it something that would add a die?
I think that being Rowan's standard. Personally, I think that being Rowan's standard behavior, doesn't have an effect on whether it generates dice or not. I think it's perfectly fine to say that you've activated that move, that you've triggered that move.
Alrighty.
I'm
So, oh,
no, you can finish. Sorry.
yep. So the only question is, did you do it for selfish reasons? Did you do it for yourself? Did you do it for your own advancements, or did you do it for the good of the community? Was it selfless action? That'll determine whether it's a community die or an alienation die.
Right. In this case, it was trying to stir some of the workers around them to action and trying to make a place for everyone. So I'm going to add another community die.
Perfect. Yep. Go ahead and add that right on the tracker, bringing us up to 3. Rook, were you about to say something?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. No, it's okay.
So mine is you have charisma bursting at the seams, and you can be convincing. Add dice when you make or take a bargain. There wasn't really a bargain struck. But I was convincing to Jackal to be like, yo, it's me. Not sure where that lies, because that's not a bargain. I'm gonna be making a bargain soon, I know that. But I'll leave that to you. And I know it's pretty open to interpretation. But I just wanted to see how you feel on that.
They are very open to interpretation. I don't think that's quite a bargain.
That's fine.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No, I was just
That's a fair question.
Yeah.
Cool. Jackal, how about you? What's the cheater's die generation?
Let's see. You've learned that the best way to deal with problems is from the side. At a dive, you avoid a subverted problem instead of facing it head on. We don't have a problem that I've subverted yet, so I don't think so.
Cool. Okay, so one more community die. And then Anya, go ahead and frame this scene for us.
Okay. I think like we back up a little bit and we
Mhm.
go back to Rowan giving a speech kind of like outside the assembly line, and you kind of zoom in at the assembly line, and I think the scene is kind of the moment that Anya and Lorna maybe forge more of a bond of like knowing who each other are, but sort of
Sure.
having that. So I think they're like physically working like next to each other on the line.
Yeah.
And have like my guess is they've probably talked to each other before, just like
Yeah,
standing
they've
next
established
to each other.
they've established a
kind of
sort of
something, yeah.
mentorship. So there's definitely been some
Yeah, there's like something.
history already. Yeah. Probably not a
Yeah.
lot because Lorna is only slightly less new than Rook at this point, since Rook just got here.
So Anya is there, this like woman in her like 40s with just like piano player's hands, but they're like so calloused, and you can see like scars from burns, and she's got her sleeves rolled up, and whatever kind of piece they're doing on the assembly line, she's like very quick to do it.
Yeah.
And I think without saying anything, she just sort of reaches over to whatever Lorna was going to do and does it faster, and like it's like, see, it's like this, and keeps going.
Absolutely. By contrast, Lorna is very young, very not lost. I don't think lost is a fair word, but she is clearly still learning. She is clearly still struggling in that way that people do. I think she's reached the point where she's realizing how not very good at this work she is, and it's just making her slower. So when you reach over, she just looks up and her eyes just kind of dart over, and she gives a quick nod and says, thanks.
As like the line comes down, Anya like takes the next piece and she's like, go ahead, do the next one.
Okay. And Lorna's gonna grab the next piece and try to assemble it. She's going to try to do it as quickly as Anya did and just miss it completely. And I think she like jams her finger and just like squeezes up her face, trying not to let out a yelp and attract more attention than she already is by slowing down the work
Anya
line.
fully fixes it. Do it right first, then fast, and then the next will come and she'll.
Lorna sighs, just kind of steals herself, and this time does it slower, but right. She gets the piece assembled and passes it down the line and just kind of mutters, slower, then fast, slower, then fast, slower, then fast.
Right, then fast.
Right, then fast, right, then fast.
Good. And I think every time like I can't like a floorman who like watches walks by and like sees, she makes sure that Lorna is getting it through, but also whenever one of them walks by or says anything, she just mutters like idiots under her breath. And it's very like clearly the most efficient person here. And that fact is like not enough for her. Like she's just frustrated.
I think Lorna, as one of the foremen walks away, I think she watches him go, and then as the next piece comes down and she works on doing it right and not fast, she says very quietly, is this just because I'm still new, or do they always breathe down your neck like this?
Always. If you work fast, then they pay less attention to you, but you do that. And she gestures out to where like you can hear Rowan. They pay attention to you.
And is he always like that?
Mm, yes,
Okay.
yes. They are always going on about something changing. I tried that once, and then she goes back to focusing.
How long have they been trying?
Mm, How long has Rowan been trying?
They're not they're not brand new, but like they've been here long enough to be pretty like
Okay, yeah.
ubiquitous because of how loud they are, but he's not been here long enough to finally be broken down. So probably in the grand scheme of things, he's probably been there a little over 6 months, a little more.
Okay. Yeah. Longer than most people who show up with that attitude. Usually they fade out. I don't know.
Lorna just shakes her head and says, I couldn't imagine getting up there like that and just shouting at everyone, drawing their attention. It's hard enough when you're trying to. And she like stumbles a little bit with the piece she's working on again, and like
Anya's
steadies
already
her
finished
hands.
hers, and she holds your like wrist steady so you don't like cut yourself.
Great. And Lorna takes a beat and then does it slow and right and says, I don't want more attention on myself like that. How long does it take for them to wear out? How long did it take? I think, no, hold on, go back. I think she starts to say, how long did it take for you? And then corrects herself. How long does it take? How long do you think it'll take them to give up?
He shows no signs of stopping, which is impressive in its way.
Well, from what you've told me, it sounds like eventually they'll peter out. Sounds like everyone does.
Mm.
She like opens her mouth to say something about probably about herself petering out pretty quickly, and then closes her mouth and keeps it
It's
inside.
best to burn long and not bright, you know?
Yeah, I like that. Burn long and not bright, and maybe they won't completely snuff you out, at least, right?
Like this. And I think Anya puts it together slightly differently, but it's like sturdier, like it's better quality. And then takes it apart really fast and puts it together the other way, the way that like they're having them do it. It's like find something for yourself to keep yourself occupied.
Right. I don't. And she like looks at it as like, have you tried telling them that you have a better way to do it? Maybe they'd get you off of this line and get you doing something more interesting with your time here, at least.
Interesting is not what they're looking for. They're looking for profitable. So I keep that to myself.
Lorna.
Not looking to rise in any ranks again. And she and I think you notice, like, and you might have noticed it before where every once in a while you'll see, and maybe you thought she like made a mistake and redid it. But she does that like every however many pieces of equipment she works on, where she'll very quickly do it her own way or like a different way, or like mess around with the pieces and then keep it going.
I think you see Lorna internalize that message about keeping your head low and not rising through the ranks as she continues doing the piece the quote unquote right way and passing him down the line. And it's probably, and you can stop me if I'm wrong, but it's probably around this time that the crowd started to dissipate and Rook and Jackal showed up. And Lorna like look over as she hears like the murmurs of the crowds and say, I don't think I've seen them before.
Mm. Yeah, that is Jackal. And then Rowan, the loud one. I don't know them,
The blue hair
kind of. Yeah.
person. So you don't know them either?
No, must be new. It happens.
Lorna just kind of laughs and then says, I know it happens.
People make their way down here one way or another. And then do we want to go into the next scene with everyone kind of getting in like a stairwell or wherever?
Yeah.
We like swap off shifts.
Yeah, let's do that. Before we go to the next scene, what is your dice generation move? The engineer?
Well, I definitely didn't do it. It's your your creativity and intellect have always been your greatest blessing and a curse. Add a dice when you find a creative solution to a problem or build a machine to deal with it. I actively went out of my way to not do that.
You did actively do that, which is very funny. It's all right. That means there's room for growth.
Exactly. We have to start somewhere.
For the canary, you favor pragmatism over idealism. Add dice when you question the methods of those around you. I think through their conversation, she was questioning Rowan's
a lot
methods
of
pretty
people.
well. And yeah,
I think that was good.
and I think it was for very selfish reasons about staying safe and unnoticed and below the radar. So I'm going to add an alienation die on Lorna's track. Perfect. Okay, who wants to frame the next scene? I guess it's between me, Rowan, and Jackal, but it sounds like we're going back to where Rowan and Jackal were. With Anya and Lorna possibly joining as the shifts change. Is that the implication there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can frame
Okay,
if you'd
perfect.
like.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
Sure.
So I think Rowan at this point has gotten used to, you know, the little shady corners where they can do the talking that they want to do. And on shift change when, you know, they're on their off shift, and as is Jackal, and Lorna and Anya are just getting off of theirs. They sort of corral everyone off into a corner of the back area where no one really goes. There's going to be a few people wandering around, and they probably shouldn't be too loud about it, which, you know, Rowan's going to work at doing, but we're all kind of huddled in a circle trying to figure out, you know, what's going on. And Rowan turns to Rook and says, "So, that new, huh?"
Yeah, yep. New as walk down the path. You
Would
know
I
there's
like
a
to?
you know there's a trail here. You don't have to die to come here.
And
That's
you came
important.
anyway.
Sorry, say that again.
And you came anyway?
Yeah, I was looking for someone.
Unfortunately.
Who could possibly be worth walking down here?
And Rook just looks over to Jackal and smiles.
And Jackal is looking at a wall. Counting some cobwebs or some shit. Look, I appreciate the efforts. I know to say to hell and back is quite a phrase here, but this isn't good.
I know the
I mean,
concept.
to hell and back certainly seems like what Rook's intent on doing with you.
Maybe.
So funny. Now, just need a good moment. Miss Lamb.
Yeah.
You always have doodads and doohickeys and whatnot. Surely we could make something to get my friend back in one piece.
You're coming with me. No, I didn't travel down here. I'll freaking bargain with Hades himself. I don't give a shit. You're coming back.
On you, please.
You want me to make a machine to escape death, Jekyll?
I suppose that's what I'm saying.
Noted. Look,
mean,
maybe you said there's a path
Yeah,
that
there's
you took in.
yeah. Yeah, no, there's if you go along, it's a long walk. It's like 3 days worth of a walk, roughly. But yeah, no, I walked like 500 miles, maybe more.
And then maybe
Mm.
something to speed up a bicycle or a scooter or something. I don't know, but
Go fast. I mean, is it?
make the trip faster.
I don't know how you're going to build something like that or even start to get away. I don't even know how you're going to be here for more than a few hours without people noticing and people doing something about it. People are
People
always
have
watching.
already noticed, so we would have to address that. You can see like the spider self. Gears are turning.
So
Perfect.
hi, they look over to Lorna. I'm Rook.
Lorna,
Nice to meet you.
you too. She like
We
narrows
need
her
to
eyes a little
go.
bit.
Maybe something to muffle sound or I don't know, but I would not. Where do you think I'm getting these parts, Jekyll? Where do you think the time comes from for me to make this before Rook? You end up noticed by, and sort of gesturing out like you could see in the hall, like people walking around, like guards, floormen, like.
I'm pretty sure there's plenty of defective parts lying around here. Bits and pieces here and there, back room, shelves. Hell, we can bunk up one of the belts and fix it. That's what I'm thinking. They'll believe you.
Here's what I'll tell you. Some of the parts in here and some of the equipment for them is cheaper to just get a new cheap one than to put time into fixing it. Which, if they just. Never mind, it's not important. What I mean is. If you, and she will point to Rowan, can get the parts, I'll see what I can do.
I mean, you want me to work on getting something or you want me to be the distraction?
He can be pretty distracting.
I've noticed.
I just met you, and yeah, you got that about you.
Came down here for starting shit. I ain't
Okay.
gonna stop starting shit.
I think Lorna pipes up, like looking at Anya and says, I thought you just said that we shouldn't be drawing attention to ourselves, as she like looks out at people, again, starting to notice a crowd of people being suspicious.
That gets Rowan's attention. How long have you been here? I've only seen you around a couple of times.
Only a couple months. if that, time is,
Time
it's
is
hard to
weird.
keep track
I
of.
know. Sure, you can keep your head down, you can go along, but wouldn't it be better to make this work for us?
What do you mean?
There's so much here that could be used for better things. Anya knows.
And when you
Sit on
figure
it.
out how to get it to work for us and to get past them and them, and she's like pointing to wherever like the like Hades and everyone is, and get them all to agree, and then get everyone to sort of commit to your ideals and not to take advantage. Let me know.
I'm
And she's
trying, and you know that.
I
This could be
think-
the start of something. Oh,
Yeah.
thanks.
Oh no. Never mind. I'll hold off on that. Go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. But Jackal just nods a bit. If we can get Brooke out, maybe we can make this a thing. People who don't deserve to be here, just squeeze them out one by one, like a new business venture.
If we're lucky
Perfect.
enough, you can join me. And we'll leave together. We'll be the first ones.
I mean, is there only room for two of you? Does anyone deserve to be here? I don't deserve to be here.
Well, you guys can come along with, but my main priority is Jackal. I'm sorry,
you
I don't know.
think we get to decide who deserves to live and die?
I mean, that's God's, and I'm no god. Not really.
No, but you don't deserve to be here because it's not your time yet. So that I think I could work on.
Okay, I trust you. You
A
seem
soul at a
smart.
time.
Do we want to fade out that scene there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some
Cool.
good stuff.
I felt good.
Cool,
Yeah, it
cool.
did.
Also, I'm sorry I'm
Yeah.
gaining whomever's like southern drawl. I am sorry.
It's fun because your childhood friends. So it's like when you start talking to people from
Yeah,
back
your
home,
colloquialisms
them
just
again,
come
I actually really like it.
Perfect.
I am having to
cool.
try so hard not to do the same.
It's infectious. Don't worry about it.
It is. It do be like that though.
Damn. Cool. So before we move on to the next scene, let's just go in order one by one. Rook, did you generate any dice during that scene?
I don't think I struck any bargains. So no.
Okay.
I'd say I'd bargain with Hades, but no.
Yeah. Well, maybe soon. Maybe next scene. Me, Lorna, add dice when you question the methods of those around you. Yeah, I think she's still being kind of a shit stirrer about it. And unfortunately, or fortunately, it was a little selfish. So that's another alienation die. Whoops. Rowan, did you?
I think despite using sort of one of Rowan's hideaways, I don't think that he actually specifically used the dice generation thing. I think this was all like, hey, we all need to like go do the thing. Where can we go do it? He just opened his resources. So I'm going to go with no.
Okay. Jackal.
I think so because of Anya's great question. Who are we to decide who lives or dies? Just kind of skirting past that one.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Definitely
Okay.
avoiding a problem there. So is that a community die or an alienation die, do you think?
Let's see. I don't know. What do you guys think? Because it doesn't say specifically where that die goes.
Were you doing it for yourself or somebody else, basically?
Yeah. So it's the same question no
Ah.
matter what. It depends on, like I said, if you are doing it, if it was an action that was part of working together towards a common goal and keeping the interests of everyone in mind, or if it was something that was either taking power for yourself or making you more isolated.
Seeing it's for Rook and possibly everyone, I'm gonna give that die to the community.
Sure. Perfect. And Anya.
So it's creative solution or machine. I don't think I'm there yet.
Mhm.
I think that's possibly in the next scene or so, but I don't necessarily think just the planning to make it should count for me personally. If you guys want to fight me on that, you're welcome to, but
You find a creative solution to a problem where you build a machine to deal with it. I think you're right. Probably not quite yet.
I think
For
once
Anya.
once we if we scheme to get parts or whatever, however we want to do it, then maybe. But
Yeah.
cool.
Cool. So with that, we can go to the next scene. The two people left to frame scenes are me and Jackal, I believe.
If that's okay, I think I have a good
Yeah,
idea.
if you have an idea, go
Uh,
ahead.
Since this is changing shifts and we have a lack of public transport, this could be us walking
Mhm.
to our barracks or dorms or what have you, and still trying to iron this plan out. That's cool with everybody.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
the goal that all of these scenes, just a reminder, the goal that all of these scenes are working towards is getting these group of people working together. I
Mhm.
feel like we're pretty close there, but of the way the game works, I feel like building this machine or sorry, I just blanked. Some of the other things we talked about will be good ideas for the next big problem to start building scenes around. So continuing right where we left off is perfect, is my point.
Okay,
Here.
cool. All right, so we have brains, source of materials, and distraction. So let's
I need a place to work.
well, there we go. Place to work. Fuck.
That's probably going to be the most important one, right? I mean, there's nowhere to ever be by
No,
yourself.
we need.
If this is something we're going to do, I don't want to keep trying to hide in shadowy corners and then having to disperse whenever someone looks our way. Funny.
No, don't. We're figuring that out. There has to be a basement or some shit. A supply closet, something big enough for cramming you in there with some parts. Fuck. And they're left pondering.
Rook, are you?
Yeah.
I was going to ask an out of question or
Oh, sure.
out of scene question. Would it be useful to figure out who our connection at the top is?
I think that is a very good idea.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Who is our ally? The only thing that immediately jumps to mind is it's probably not the queen, who doesn't want us to
No,
strike.
yeah.
She is nice, but I don't think she's friendly, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
What if it's the Fates?
Does
What
that
if
come into your
it's-
playbook, Lorna?
Lorna has ooh. Okay. So there's no mechanical thing for the fates. It is
Okay.
part of the flavor of the canary. So I worked it into the backstory where they're always telling her you should do this, you should do that, you should do this. Kind of like the musical where they're always whispering in the back of your mind. What if it's one of the fates?
Oh, we get little
Okay.
clues.
So, all right. That's gonna have me looking up the Fates because should we do the Weaver? I forgot which one. I know what they do. I just forget who the
We can
Weaver
figure the
is.
names out later if we,
Yeah.
we just establish.
We have it's the spinner, the allotter, and the flexible. Clotho, I don't know how to pronounce these things. I'm not going to try to pronounce them now. But we can say it's one of the fates for now, and then work out
Clotho,
exactly.
Lachesis, and Atropos is
Thank you.
usually
Yeah.
common.
Mhm.
Oh, do we? Okay. And then my thought is, do we want to just have where Lorna is our contact to be in touch with that? Or do we
Um,
want all of us to be able to?
It's Clotho, I think.
Clotho?
I think Lorna would be great for that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay.
Because Atropos determines the individual's death.
Okay.
So yeah. It
Yeah,
could be
let's-
interesting.
Oh, for it to be Atropos?
That would be goddamn frightening. I don't know if we want to do that to ourselves.
Let's make it Clotho then.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm just gonna add that note real quick.
Very cool.
Cool. Did you have something to say in the scene about that, or just wanted to clarify it?
No, I just wanted to know because depending on who it was, maybe they knew where we could hide. But
Sure.
yeah,
hello.
back in the scene.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
Anya doesn't know about this.
Yeah, none of us do.
No. No. Rick definitely wouldn't. Okay, cool. I love that for us.
Yeah.
But you were going to start talking to me?
Yeah.
Or-
Just as they're walking, Lorna just says, "Hey, Brooke,
Yeah.
are you said you walked for 3 days?
Roughly.
Are you tired, or do you not feel anything since you got here?"
I'm just running on me. I'm tired, but I'm running on me. I took rests here and there, but I don't know. And I've got some stamina.
You are all so young.
And stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
Damn right.
Also takes someone to know someone stubborn.
Listen, this is not about me. This is about you.
Oh,
And-
finally.
I'm used to it. And they just like walk a little faster.
You're cute when you blush.
Shut up.
Good to see a little life.
Lorna
back
just kind
down
of gives
here
a
again.
look to Anya. So-
Anya like nods, like very knowingly, like. Mhm.
Hmm.
Do you think they were lovers, or she's gossiping?
Lorna turns back to look at Jacko and Rook as they like walk ahead of them, and she just kind of shrugs and says, "If they weren't, I think they might be now, or are going to be. I don't know."
Also, Rook is not hearing this. They're walking alongside Rowan. So you guys are talking to yourselves. Rook's in their own world, but they're
yeah.
also like
Yeah.
listening to Rowan like speak about whatever they're talking about right now.
Yeah, Rowan's just sort of on about the need for space for this and where they might be able to find it. He's thinking there might be something, but only if they can all sort of make the space together. We wouldn't be able to be we'd be able to be away from everyone else, but we'd all have to be there at the same time. So it's not really a stellar workshop, but it might be the best they can get.
I mean, you guys say you're never alone, so like, look, we'll all be in a room and we all got eyes, and I'm sure we can figure something out.
Yeah.
We can work with it. It's definitely better than nothing. It's not going to be perfect, obviously. We can't stay out of everyone's sight, but it's best I can do, I think.
Also, you're pretty passionate about what you're about. And how long have you been here? Everybody's so glum.
I mean, time's fuzzy. You heard Lorna.
Yeah.
She hasn't been down here that long and she's already losing it, but uh definitely longer than some people. Maybe I don't think it's been a full turn of the seasons yet. It's the only way you
Seasons
can
don't
really
really
get to.
exist up anyway.
Mm,
Haven't in a
You
while.
know what I mean.
Yeah. Just giving you an update. They haven't changed up there.
Yeah, didn't figure. But I came down here for yelling about something, and I don't mean to quit. It's part of who I am.
I get you. People have said my music does that to them. So I'm glad that there's more people that I can see. Maybe other things have inspired them to feel that way. Kind of get it now.
I just want people to be able to live, and this ain't no place to live.
Mm.
Because we are dead.
Yes, thank you, Anya.
Lorna laughs at that, but it is a humorless laugh. Um, out of character, I have an idea for how I'm going to frame the next scene, but it's probably going to be a two-person scene instead of everyone.
Okay.
Because it's not something I think Lorna would bring up to everyone. It's probably going to be something she brings up to Anya first.
Oh, that's totally
Okay.
fine.
That's fine.
So that's where I'm at. I don't know if we have anything more for the scene or if we want to draw this one to a close.
I'm pretty good there. I just wanted to show that part when they were actually having a conversation. So
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, I think it's a good end.
Cool. Perfect. So before we move on, has anyone triggered their dice generation move? Rook.
No, I'm probably not gonna have much until later on. So
Yeah.
no.
That's fair. I don't think I did this time. Rowan, Jackal, Anya, I see you all shaking your heads.
Yeah, no, I very
Yeah.
specifically was discussing this, so it's
Yeah.
something that was planned.
Cool. Okay. So I think for my scene, I think as everyone is still walking to their next destination, I think Lorna kind of slows down and pulls at Anya's sleeve.
Thank God, you all walk so fast.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know, someone yelled at me for walking too slow the first day, and I feel
No,
like
I understand.
Yeah.
But it's just you, unfortunately, I'm sorry to say, died very young, and your legs are much better.
I had a thought, but I don't. And she like lowers her voice and says, "I don't want to bring it up to everyone. I don't know them. I don't know Rook. They just showed up. I don't really know Rowan. I don't really know Jackal. You're really the only person I feel like I can trust with this, and don't take offense, but even that is just like barely there."
No, you're smart.
And she like smiles and says, yeah, right. I think I might be able to talk to someone who can help us at least have a private place to talk and to plan and to work all of this shit out.
Okay.
Here's the thing. It's Clotho.
One
Fate?
of the three scary women who tell you just like you're gonna die.
Yeah, I and she like kind of looks at the floor and says, I hear them a lot. Um a lot. And I don't want anyone else to know that because they're going to look at me the way that you just looked, honestly. Um except they probably won't trust me after that, and which is fair, they probably shouldn't. Um but Clotho at least seems like she likes me more than the others, is a little more inclined to not fuck me over at every turn.
Well, you should have told her to warn you about whatever landed you down here, but now
Well, that
that you're
was
here.
that was kind of her and them.
Mm.
I don't know. Clotho's just one fate, I guess. I don't really know how their whole thing works. I just know that I might be able to talk to her and get her on our side. And maybe she can hook us up with our own private space where we can be alone and talk and not have to worry about people watching and listening.
Do that then.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will.
This is very good.
Great. Okay. Great. Yep. Thank you.
Are you okay?
That's a lot to tell someone, and I wasn't sure how you were going to react. And I was very nervous, and honestly, it's going better than I thought it would.
Not much surprises you when you are down here for a bit, and I mean, actually, it is surprising because things are usually very not a lot changes, but
Right.
It's weird down here. Is all I mean to say.
Right. Okay, we should probably catch up with everyone else.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
You talk.
We don't have to go fast. We can just walk, but we have to walk.
Oh,
as
it's
slow.
okay. I'll keep up. I've been keeping up.
Okay. I'm good with that. If you're
Yeah.
good with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Real quick, one thing that I forgot, which is my bad, with the dice generation, and we can retroactively move some things around if we need to. Besides generating dice, one thing that can happen is dice move. Let me pull up the exact wording here. Anyone who feels they've forged a new bond or changed an existing one can move a die from one pool to the other to represent that. And I bring it up right now because I feel like Lorna sharing that with Anya, even though they had a decent relationship before, I feel like that strengthened it and maybe grounds to move one of Lorna's alienation dice to the community pool.
You were being vulnerable with each other.
It was being very vulnerable. Cool. So I will go ahead and do that. And if anyone, as we just go through dice generation real quick before we roll and see how successful we are, anyone else can move dice around if they feel bonds changed or forged or shifted. So let me move this real quick before I forget. Great. Rook, you think you for yeah, so you weren't sorry. So that seems just me and Anya. So we'll be the ones generating dice, but I just want to go through real quick and check on the bonds changing since we didn't go over that.
Yeah. I think they're slowly at least gaining one with Rowan. I know with Rowan they already have a perceived one, like that one's my friend. And Rook's just like, who are you? I think they're slowly forming a bond, but I don't know if that's enough to change a dice pool, unless any of you want to argue that. But yeah, that's how I see it.
Okay. It sounds to me like that might be something that happens later on as the bond strengthens more.
Yeah.
Rowan, did you have any bonds forge, shift, or change in any way during the last few scenes?
I mean, I think that the sort of immediate I like you with Rook was the base bond. We'll see how that changes, but
Sure.
there's definitely fire there that there's a very like you and me back to back feeling that I'm excited to explore, but I don't think anything's going to shift per se yet.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
I could agree with that because it's more so I think Rowan's probably seeing Rook like, oh, they've got passion too. So
Totally. Jackal, same question.
I don't think so, not yet.
Okay. And Anya.
I have no alienation die to move.
You know what? That's fair. And you probably haven't generated any dice during that scene as well. No.
No.
And I don't think I did either. I don't think I was no, I don't think I was quite. I was going to say I might have been questioning the methods of the fates, but I don't think she quite did that. I think she kind of danced around it, but it wasn't quite at the same level as it has been.
We got a lot of momentum building.
Yeah, a lot of momentum
go,
building for
yeah.
this first problem that we're dealing with. Speaking of which, that is the last scene, which means we now get to roll an outcome. So the challenge again was bringing this group of people together to work towards a common goal. With a common goal, from how the scenes ended up going, seems to be making this work better for us, and with the added eventual goal of finding a way to get Rook out, and possibly Jackal, and possibly more people, depending on how it goes. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our community dice and our alienation dice and roll them. And how we determine the outcome is dependent on the individual numbers on the dice. So whichever dice pool has the highest number is going to be the successful outcome. So for example, if the community dice have a 6 in it and there are no 6s in the alienation dice, then the community dice went out. It was a community success. If the community dice don't have a 6, but one of the alienation dice do, then it's going to be an alienation success, and so on and so forth with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If there are multiple 6s in community and alienation, then we'll go to 5, but we can do that if it comes up. So for now, go ahead and take your alienation dice if you have them and roll them. I'm going to roll the community dice, and then we'll see what the highest numbers are.
I got a 3 on my alienation.
Okay. Did anyone get a 6?
I got a 1 and a 4.
Okay. Did anyone get a 5? No. So Jackal, you got a 4? Did anyone else get a 4? Okay. I got a 4 on my alienation die and a 4 on the community die. So with 2 alienation dice rolling a 4 and 1 community die rolling a 4, alienation dice went out.
Is it the number, or would it be then the next one down?
If one, no, that's all right. If 1 community die rolled a 6, but 2
Okay.
Sorry, but 2 alienation dice did, alienation succeeds.
Okay.
Sorry, I think I misexplained that beforehand, which I
No, you're
apologize
good.
for. Yeah. So alienation success. Decide as a group, how was this challenge undoubtedly a failure? How is there, despite that, a glimmer of hope for the future?
I think at the moment, what's happening is we're all kind of butting heads and getting nowhere.
Mhm.
Like we're all running into a lot of issues with no way to solve them.
Some of us are running away.
Right.
Some of us
Some
are
of us
running
are-
away. Sorry.
Some of us are running away. Some of us are, trying but have no idea what to do. Like there's a lot of wheels spinning without any actual movement.
And I also think like there's a lot of different motives of like Rook is trying to save someone, Rowan is taking this as like a moment of like political hope of getting someone out. Jackal's just trying to get them out. Like all of these Anya's doing out of some like sense of like guilt and boredom.
Mhm.
What's interesting though is with Jackal, they're trying to get Rook up, but they're actually not thinking about themselves in this. They're not like, yeah, I'm gonna come out with you. They're like, no, you're the one that needs to get out, which I think is really fun for that character.
Mhm.
Because if they're as selfish as they seem and are trying about cheating, for once they're not trying to cheat.
Yeah.
Or they're at least trying to cheat for someone else.
That too.
Yeah.
That is actually, yeah, that's how you make yourself feel better. I'm
Yeah.
cheating for
I-
them.
But also
I
by
think this sort of the fact that it's like dragging feet leads it to us getting a little bit of attention on us of like since it's taking long for us to cooperate, there's attention. And so it's not necessarily like a falling out of like we can't be seen together for a minute. Otherwise it's suspicious. Do you see what I'm saying?
Fair.
yeah,
Is that-
absolutely.
Is that fun for people? I don't know.
Yeah.
So we tried to get a cohesive group together. Different motivations, different drives for everyone has kept us from truly unifying in a way that is actionable. And now there is more unwanted attention on us than there was even before. But there is still a glimmer of hope for the future, and I think that comes in the fact that we are still. No one is fighting, no one is actively working against the other. Everyone is making the effort, everyone is trying. It's still a matter of getting on the same page, so it's not all hopeless. we-
I was gonna suggest as like a glimmer of hope, like we maybe can't use it now, but maybe Lorna gets the location.
Sure.
I don't know if that's too
Uh,
I don't know if that's
yeah,
too much hope.
I don't
If
don't
that's
think-
too hopeful.
I don't think talking so here's my thought. I don't think talking to Clotho should be a whole problem that 5 scenes are framed around.
Mhm.
I think we can say she still manages to do it and still gets a somewhat private place, but it's not really private, is it? Because Clotho knows about it.
Mhm.
Clotho knows Lorna was interested in it, and what Clotho knows, who's to say the other fates don't also know? And who's to say what machinations are happening because of that?
Yeah.
So it's not truly enough to remove no space to be alone from our lacks. It is a somewhat private space that is very tenuous in its existence.
Again, getting to that space is also a problem if we can't necessarily be seen together.
Yes, absolutely. There's going to be a lot of darting back and forth, making sure we're not followed, making sure we're not all leaving together. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So with that, the next step, remove any community dice that rolled a 1 from the pool. Good news, no 1s were rolled, so we still have all of those dice in our community pool. After that, any character who has alienation dice that are equal to the number used to resolve the challenge or higher, in this case a 4, chooses to either take some kind of power or advantage for themselves in a way that makes narrative sense and put 1 community die into their alienation pool, or keep the dice as they are and lose a bit of hope, confidence, and or feelings of camaraderie in the cause. So I think that would be me and Jackal, from what I remember, both rolled a 4. Mhm.
Since we're just starting, I'm gonna keep the dice as they are.
Oh, okay. So how are you losing a bit of hope, confidence, or feelings of camaraderie? How does that look for
Um,
Jackal in this moment?
They're a little frustrated with the situation.
Mhm.
Like this, as hopeful as Rook is, this is a big fucking deal because they've played this game and lost, and they don't want that for them.
Sure. Absolutely. Um, so I feel silly saying, not silly. I feel a way saying this after you just said we're starting. I don't want to move the dice, but also my initial thought was that Lorna, because she is so distrusting of everyone outside of Anya, I wonder if she. I wonder if she does something to make it so she always needs to be present in the space when someone else is. So no one is there without her. Like maybe it's part of the agreement that she makes with Clotho that if anyone
Or
like
yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's
Okay.
only available sometimes and it's not regular. So like
Yeah. And so only Lorna knows when it's gonna happen.
Gotcha.
Are we okay with that?
Yeah, totally.
Cool. So I'll steal a community die. The Canary playbook feels very prone to alienation dice starting off, which makes sense given who she's based off of.
Same
Cool.
with same with the Orphic. Like I'm just like
Mhm.
I'm either bound to get more alienation die or I am not going to be able to help this community until it gets good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, with that, with our first problem, not quite solved, but not entirely hopeless, I think this is a good time to take a quick break. So we will be right back, everyone. We'll see you soon. Hi, welcome back to The Riot Starts on Carrying Comfort Studios. We're going to jump right back into it. We just finished our first big goal that was not as successful as we could have hoped for, but that's okay because even in failure, there is always a glimmer of hope as we move on to our second goal. So I have a few ideas, but I was wondering, or I say a few ideas. I have one idea. Does anyone else have any ideas for what the second goal could be?
I bet my idea is the same as your idea.
What is your idea?
I was get the stuff.
That was my idea.
Steal.
Yeah, steal. Let's do crimes. I love it.
Okay, do crimes. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Acquire resources.
Or cool. Acquire resources / steal. Perfect. Great. So that is our second goal, acquiring resources for Anya's big machine. Does anyone have an idea for the first framing of the scene? Okay, I have one. I think we find ourselves in the small I think it is exactly how I can't remember if it was Rowan or Jackal who described a place just even deeper underground, just a cramped little hideaway. But I think it is something like that. And I think at this point, we don't have to play out the minutia of it. I think Lorna at this point has explained to the others, I've gotten us a place, but it's not available all the time. I can't give you the full details. I need to be there when you're there to make sure it's safe and people aren't being followed, purely for selfish, distrustful reasons. And I think that this scene has anyone who wants to be there, really, as that's my train of thought. Hold on. I think the scene finds at least Lorna and Anya and probably Jackal as well, who was going to be stealing things. And then Rook and Rowan can also be there if you wish to be there. I think this is probably the first delivery of stolen goods that Jackal is dropping off. And I think Lorna
It's-
probably, oh, sorry.
I'm just gonna say it's probably good if Rick is hidden away. At all. Like, I'm going to make a point that during this time, I don't exist, but I exist. And I'm willing to help any other way while still not existing.
Okay.
I just want to make that before you go on.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. So I think the scene opens with Lorna opening. I'm imagining like a secret hatch in a part of the factory that is not frequented, but is not necessarily closed off. She opens a little hatch. There's a staircase that goes down. I think Lorna probably left Anya there to go fetch Jackal to let them know that it was safe, and Lorna is bringing Jackal down into the hideaway with, or she's probably helping carry the goods. She's not that selfish. Anya, are you still alone?
Yeah, and she's like at the front of the hatch rigging up just like super thin, you almost don't even see her holding it, just a wire or a string that will break if someone other than us were to open this hatch. So whenever we show up, we will know if someone might have gone through our stuff.
Neat. I love that.
Cool.
Cool. It's like a little trap. Good.
Just an
Okay.
alarm so we can know who is looking at our things, or
Yeah.
who might, or not who, but if anyone is.
Well, we got some of the stuff that you need. It's not a lot, but there was a lot to navigate around, I guess.
It does
Yeah.
start at least.
Yeah, let's find a place to stash it. And I think any pieces that she can start to like puzzle together for, my guess is like she's building something so you can move faster, so they can get out quieter. So any sort of like she's holding off on any like washers or things that the longer they're there, the more they might squeak, but anything like building the base components, she'll start doing that so it can just hide it together.
Lorna like sneaks in, or not sneaks in, but sidles up to the side of you to watch you working. She's probably not offering to help because she just slow you down, but she is interested in what you're doing.
Anya doesn't care if you're interested in helping. You're holding, like, she's not like looking at you.
Oh,
but
yeah,
you
yeah,
are,
she'll do that.
you just became like a shelf, and she'll like shout for something, or like tell you what tool she needs. Like it's not just like the smaller one.
Oh, right. Yep.
Yeah, I'll teach you
smaller
the
one.
names for all of these pieces later.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So we're covered. What about like we're trying to think. What's his name? Rowan? Where is he? Where are they? In conjunction. They're looking around a little more fidgety than normal given the situation.
Rowan is not there at the moment. They've been caught up at the end of their shift.
Gotcha.
I think Rowan said they had to work later than they were expecting.
Okay. So if it's just us, shall we head down?
Let's go.
Is everything all good? Like we found a place to hide it.
I mean,
I
they
assume
did-
that was the hatch, if I'm wrong.
Oh, right. And so they were just like daydreaming a little bit because they're like, oh, everybody's standing up.
yeah, we have this place to hide and to build. It's not fully available to us, but no one else should be coming in here when we're not here, at least.
Okay, cool. That's good.
Fantastic.
Mm. I
What
think
now?
this will work. Now we wait till the next opportunity we have.
We should do something so we don't have to, and like Lorna looks at the bits and pieces that they did manage to get. If we keep collecting things in just small batches like this, it's never going to get done, and someone's going to find us, and someone's gonna find us out if we keep doing this. We should figure out a way to get more and get it faster and get it safely, but we gotta be faster than this, right?
We can get more, we can get it faster, or we can get it safely. You can pick one.
Well, if we do faster, we're going to need a commotion. And there's always Preacher.
Yeah. If we need it fast, we need something big to break.
Okay,
So that
we-
if it gets thrown out, no one will notice.
maybe one of the assembling machines.
Well, that would be a shame.
And then we just need to figure out where they take it if it gets broken and intercept it somehow.
Yeah. And who's going to break this?
It looks at Anya. I mean, you're the you got the knowledge to break something without someone realizing it was intentional, probably, right?
But then there's reputation.
Right.
Well, humbly volunteer, and we could have Miss Lamb verify that it is broken and not one of my fun little goofs.
That could work. I can explain to you how to break it to where they won't fix it, but where the pieces we need won't get damaged. They overlook a lot of stuff. It shouldn't be hard to find a point of pressure.
Yeah.
The bearing to break.
We should also make sure that when we do this, there aren't a lot of the foremen on staff at the time. Maybe during a time where there's less oversight, or if we can try to make it so there's less oversight.
If Rowan is off shift and talking to people, they will not be paying attention to the floor as much.
Right.
And there we go.
All right.
One big grab.
Okay.
So it's a plan then?
I believe
a
so.
plan. Hopefully it doesn't blow up in our faces.
Oh, you never know how that's gonna happen.
It could literally happen. And
It
she
can.
just locks
Literally
eyes with Jackal, who's gonna be the one in the machine.
I mean, yeah.
I said we could do it quickly or safely. We've chosen quickly, so
All right.
I mean, it blows up in your face. It's not like you're gonna die. So she pats him on the shoulder.
Exactly. Ugh.
So I'll stand like 20 feet away when you do that because I don't want to die yet.
Oh, that's an interesting question. What would happen if you died down here? Are you
How about we
already
don't
dead
find
just by
out?
being?
Yeah, let's not find out. I'm all for science, but not that.
No skin
Not
off
yet.
my back. And then I I don't know if anybody has anything else to add, but until the scene fades out, Anya is just assembling and disassembling things to her by herself.
Yeah.
Brooke's just
Testing
gonna
pieces.
Brooke's just gonna like quietly, like nervously, but like be like, let's just make sure everything's fine. This is fine. Nobody knows we're here. I'm just gonna play a little something, make the time go faster. And they're just also gonna keep looking at Jackal, seeing them kind of annoyed, like, sit down.
And they stand just to be deliberate.
You're such a brat.
This isn't the place for this. We're trying to work on.
Anya
No,
gives
no, no,
another
no, I know.
gossipy look over to Lorna, like, did you say that?
Lorna just nods and says, please lower your voices and the music.
Fine. And they just like put it away.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fine. Be that way. I'm just trying to get you to be a little less tense in the moment we can.
As long as you're here, it's gonna be tense. I apologize. I'm not sorry, but Yeah.
No, I
You're
get it.
hearing this?
They're communicating with feelings. What is this? And Rook's just sees them still standing. And they're gonna just like gently like kick their shin, like tap it, and just like, you're still an asshole.
and they just get a good old eye roll. I think that's a good scene spot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Great. Cool. Dice generation. Does anyone think they generated a die during this scene? Anya.
I creatively solved a problem and also built a what's it called? A simple machine.
You did do those things. Cool. Do you think it's a alienation die or community die?
No, I'm leaving a track in like a public place. I don't think that's selfish. Because like if somebody were to find
I think it's a community die too.
great.
Cool. So go ahead and add that on the tracker there. Does anyone else feel like they generated a die? Rook, Jackal.
I don't think so.
Okay. Question the methods of those around you. I don't think Lorna did that here, so I don't think I've generated a die either. Does anyone think they've shifted a die by forging a new bond or strengthening one or changing one?
Not really.
Okay, cool. So in that case, let's move on to the next scene. Who wants to frame the next scene?
We've already like, we're like, oh, we're building it. At this point, we should probably figure out where we want things to go next.
Well, we're still figuring out the plan to acquire everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Which was that with the distraction and blowing up the machine and all of that.
We should probably have that conversation with Rowan, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we volunteered, volunteered him, but like, we haven't said, "Hey, we need you for this thing."
Okay. So do you want to frame that scene, Jackal?
Sure. So
Cool.
I guess this is a scene with Jackal and Rowan probably at the end of Rowan shift, as like people are filing out. Jackal is waiting near the door. They don't look shifty, but they're still getting glances for like past bastard activity. So a couple people already know something is up, quote unquote, just for them lurking. So, Preacher, Rowan, you don't mind if I borrow you for just a second?
Eh, I mean, off shift now.
Cool. So, we managed to do a little something in regards to our group activity.
Mm,
But in the case of how we like to transport, I'm trying to think of a good way to put this. We need a distraction. And who better to take some eyes off than our local rallier? And they try to pull a wry smile what is failing. They kind of hate the fact that they have to ask for help.
what? So you're asking me to do what I do every day anyway?
Well, I am asking that, but I'm asking you to do it like super special, extra attention. If you wouldn't mind spinning something up for us so we can have a happy little accident.
You on shift soon?
I'm pretty sure I can finagle my way in.
Sounds good. And they just start. Like you didn't give them a time frame, so we're going. They're going to look around, spot the biggest like concentration of people they can, because they don't really like people going out of the factory don't really group. People are pretty isolated here. So he looks around and spots sort of the biggest stream of people he can get in front of and steps very in the way. Like immediately, first thing he knows he needs to do is get in the way of people, otherwise nothing's going to stop. And so he pulls this kind of odd move where they're very casual most of the time. Like you've seen how I'm kind of sitting here, like very relaxed, not super uptight about things, but like they straighten up and set their shoulders, and immediately you can see they're probably about 3 inches taller than you realized. Like they're a big dude. It's kind of weird. And he puts himself in front of a bunch of people, and you hear again that kind of piercing, loud, overarching voice you heard right when you got here, Rook. Talking about. So now that we're off the line, I think it's time I started about this again, don't you think? And getting everyone's attention immediately, including several foremen that are around. And you can see immediately that the foremen are very used to this. Like,
Yeah.
isn't the first time that Rowan's done this. Probably won't be the last. They know that. And as Rowan starts to talk, they start moving. They can see where the foremen are. They're like backing up and arranging themselves so that he can see all of them, move away from them, keep himself out of their reach for as long as possible. And as he's sort of winding up, he just shoots a look over to Jackal, like, go on.
Yeah, they're going in. They're making into that shift, and now we haven't discussed what they need to break.
No.
So
Are they just gonna randomly break shit?
I guess so.
I love that.
Great. Perfect.
So,
Disrespect your surroundings.
in a very casual way, like
Uh-huh.
they're on a spot. I guess they're going to be like outside of their normal station and just picking a place where there's a hole and trying to assemble things as horrifically as they can. Like some pieces are too loose, some pieces are too tight, some get like crammed under the conveyor belt to like choke it out or something.
Uh-huh.
And it's just not a great time. They're working on a little adrenaline.
Yeah. And I think from the masses perspective, I think this plan goes off about as well as it could. Like what Rowan said, everyone's attention is immediately drawn to him. I think the foremen have probably been instructed to watch them closely whenever they start this, even though presumably nothing egregious has ever happened, or they would shut it down immediately. But there is an immediate eye on Rowan, so Jackal is left to freely cause uninformed havoc.
Just making casual conversation with whoever's next to them too. Like they know they're not in the right spot. Just like, hey, how you doing? Just like, slip, slide, and hearing the whatever gears of machinations start to crunch and spark.
That employee is probably as soon as they realize what is happening, trying to be anywhere else so they don't get any blame on that.
See, we're lacking a safe space from violence, and we are causing violence.
We are lacking a safe space from violence.
Yeah, I think within like 3 to 5 minutes, the foremen are starting to close in because Rowan's gotten kind of loud even for him. And it's not like Rowan's not used to like getting hauled out of there and shut up for a little while, but it's something they'd like to avoid this time. So after another couple of minutes of like the louder, like Jackal calls him preacher for a reason.
Yeah.
They start to sort of tone it down and talk to more smaller groups of people, more individual groups, a little more like what they were doing before.
Maybe you see the foremen start to like move their hands towards some sort of club or something they have just in case things get super rowdy.
Right, and which is
that's
definitely like, at the point where he starts to tone it down and work on like petering out a little, like still there, still definitely a problem, but not as vocal as he was.
Yeah. Cool. I feel like the next part of this is going to have to involve Anya, so it's probably a good place to call this framed scene at least. Rowan and Jackal, do you think either of you generated a die during that?
Yeah.
Great.
You didn't give me a time, so there I went. That was a decision I made.
Uh-huh. Do you think it's a community die or an alienation die?
I think this one's actually an alienation die because despite the overall goal being for the group, he didn't want to ask. He's also very much using this for his own ends because that was a big spot of pontificating that he wouldn't have gotten to do otherwise for fear of attracting too much attention. In this case, they wanted him to attract attention. So
cool. Okay. Add an alienation die to your tracker. Jackal.
I'm gonna ask y'all. What do you think? Did I distract or avoid a problem? I don't think so.
Caused problems and got
Yeah,
someone
but-
else to make a distraction. So I'm gonna argue by definition.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree on that one.
Yeah, you definitely subverted the problem by making it Rowan's problem.
All right. I'm gonna take that as alienation.
Yo, we're bad
Okay.
at
Is it bad or
Look.
just creative?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't put the two chaos agents in a room together. It's a bad idea.
Great. Look, yeah, revolution's hard by definition. Cool. So you both added alienation dice. Do you think either of you shifted bonds or formed a new bond?
Did we?
I think
We did
I
work
think we are
together
at
just
least
now.
growing to respect each other.
Mhm.
Um,
The seed is there.
yeah, but I don't know that it's like actually gone anywhere. It's very much like we are working towards this from our own very different ways, and we are starting to see the other's perspective,
There we
at
go.
least to me.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense. I like that.
Sure. Cool. So going forward, Rook, Rowan, or Anya, who wants to form or frame this next scene?
I can go ahead and
Sure.
pick up from
That makes sense.
what I assume is like a different. I would assume like Lorna and Anya went back to wherever their station is.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, just hear like a crunch and a screech as whatever equipment Jackal was kind of feeding into sabotage breaks in just the worst way possible.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Just
They-
like a huge screech.
Brooke is
and-
saying that out loud as the sound is happening.
Lorna just turns around from what she's doing, just completely forgetting it, and say, "Did we say go now? I thought. Did we say it?
No.
Did we say right? Okay.
No, so we are either very lucky or very unlucky.
Uh-huh.
And
Do they even know what to
mm,
break?
absolutely not. She's like
Great.
looking. I think it's a thing where when something breaks like this, Anya knows like somebody's gotta come find her to fix it, and so she would try to push Rook away so that the foreman wouldn't.
Yeah.
Be like you.
I think
need to-"
Lorna will take Rook and try to hide them away.
Yeah. I mean, you can have a scene there too, if you want. Not right now, but as
Yeah.
emotions are happening.
Yeah.
I think, for what it's worth, before the scene ends, I think Lorna like grabs Rook's arm to take them away, and just like says in a very harsh whisper, "I don't know Jackal very well, but do they always just do whatever they want, whenever they want, without waiting for everyone else?"
Yes. Yes.
Great.
They were worse when they were younger too.
Great. Okay, I should not. I'm beginning to
Let's
worry this was a mistake.
Let's go. Let's just go. Go look for Anya soon.
Yeah, and I think Anya just sort of keeps doing assembly work, like not even looking at what she's doing, just like staring at the ceiling, like waiting
Mhm.
until eventually one of the foremen peels off from Rowan, which Jackal, you might be able to see before he gets back there. I don't know. But then would head over to the machinery to go fix it or like
Okay.
deem it not fixable.
See, I don't know what happened. Just I was doing my thing, and suddenly.
What's that again?
No. Oh, but you can fix this, can't you? I don't know nothing about machines despite being here forever. Oh dear. Oh me. Oh my. Oh gods.
This will need to be replaced, and she'll look to the foreman and just try to like get that through. I think she like fiddles with fixing it.
Uh-huh.
In she never like does her work quickly. She never does it enthusiastically or with any interest. So it's the same thing where she's like sort of putting stuff together, sort of working, and just sort of shakes her head. My guess is the foreman is gonna be pissed
Yeah.
and is gonna
Yeah.
take that out on somebody.
I mean, it's probably Jackal, right? Because even if it's being
Yeah,
framed
yeah,
as an
I-
accident, it was still Jackal's responsibility. And
Yeah.
we don't have to zoom in on it, but we do have a lack of a safe space from violence.
Yeah.
So
We can
it's
just say it
probably
happens.
not
Yeah, and
yeah.
and that so that happens as the scene fades out.
Cool. Great, yeah. Dice generation. Did anyone generate a die during that scene? I think Lorna did in the end there, questioning Jackal's methods. But I think for once it was with the goals of the group in mind more than
Mhm.
herself. So I think that can go in the community dice. Does anyone else think they generated a die who was in that scene?
No.
No, not really.
Okay. And same thing as before, shifting bonds, new bonds.
Is this a new bond? I don't think so.
No, I
mean,
don't think either of us necessarily acted in any way that's not just the status quo of like,
Yeah.
Sure.
you know something about me, so I'll help you.
Cool. Cool. So one new community die and nothing else as we go into the next scene. We have Rook and Rowan. As that frame
Oh,
scene, right?
Was it
Yeah.
Rook and Rowan, or you grabbed my arm though?
I thought it was Rook
It was
Uh,
Lorna.
Oh
No,
no,
I'm
we
s- I'm
just
sorry,
have to. We're the ones who have left to frame.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
left
Okay.
to
okay.
Yes,
frame?
you're the ones left to
Oh,
frame this
yeah.
scene.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Sorry.
So it's good. So I'll frame the scene then.
Okay.
All right. So Rook feels like the hand on their arm, and they just like slightly blush. But play it real cool. Real
Mhm.
cool, as they're whispering to him about what Jackal's intentions are.
Uh-huh.
And they just like, so where do we go now?
Um, we should go. And I think Lorna's looking around, and I'm trying to remember the hindrances we have because we haven't brought the. Ooh, I know. Here we can. There's a. There's a she like searches for the word. It's not really a bar. A bar sounds more fun than it is, but it's a place for people to go and drink, I guess. If they have the company money. We can go hide you there. We can grab like a cloak or something, throw over your head so people don't stare at you, just get you out of here from the foreman. It'll just be other workers there, and they barely lift their heads up to look at anyone anyway when they're drinking. I think that's probably the safest space for you.
That's a date.
And Lorna will drag them over there. And I picked this place because I want there to be like a shitty little jukebox in there that is playing the Co-opted Revolution song. I think, and it's probably like, I don't think Lorna even clues into it, but Rook probably does because Rook is a musician, so they're probably paying attention to the lyrics. And
Yeah.
the way I'm picturing this, part of the way it was co-opted is that the lyrics still have that spark of revolution in them, but the music is very commercial. The music is very brought down to the most like basic element it could be. It's Good Charlotte's Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous in the chat.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. So that's playing on the jukebox when she drags him in there in some kind of disguise.
Fine. Man. Thought this place had nothing.
I mean, this isn't really anything.
I mean, you have music. I've never heard music down here outside of, well, machines, which is a kind of music almost, if you think about it.
Yeah, the music of machinery.
Yeah. There's a genre for
Yes.
that. What music were you into? You're new, so you probably know a little bit more modern stuff.
And Lorna like thinks for a moment and she says, it's kind of hard to remember actually, but I kind of remember there was a song I think I liked. It had there was what kind of instrument does Rook have? Guitar or a
It's a ukulele.
ukulele? Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, why not? She says there was. I think there was. What you had? There was a ukulele that played in it. There was a flute. It was nice. I think. I think I liked it. I think I enjoyed it.
That's good.
I think I danced to it, but I don't remember what that was like. It's,
But you look
forget-
great dancing, though. You look like you feel the music.
I think Lorna blushes at that. And she just kind of like turns away and shrugs and says, it's, that was when I was alive and there's not room for dancing down here. And she like looks at the jukebox and rolls her eyes and says, especially not to something like this.
No, this is what we start a fight with. I don't want to start fights right now. Not yet. So you remember dancing a little. You like a little bit of music here and there. So that's good. Keep that to yourself and remember that. Not many people remember themselves down here, it looks like.
No, it's something that happens to you. I think I feel it happening to me every single day I'm here. It's scary.
Sounds it.
That's why it's easier to just keep your head down and not think about it sometimes, because if you don't think about it, you don't remember what you're losing.
Yeah, but then you just blend and there's no, you're alive, but you're not alive. And that's sad. And I know it's no place for happiness really here, but I mean, there's always something to look forward to, even if it's a song that you haven't heard in probably like however long it's been, and brings you back to some place. Hold on to that a little bit. I think that's important because you were pretty cool. Like, I don't know, I just met you, but like and Rook just blushes and just like I don't know. I think you're pretty cute. So just thinking about you like listening to music and dancing, I think you should hold on to that.
I think she narrows her eyes at that actually and says, what about your friend, Jackal?
Yeah? What about him? Them?
The way you talked to them, I thought there was something there, but the way she like narrows her eyes more, the way you're talking to me, I don't. What are you trying to do?
I don't know. Jackal is Jackal. If if they ever harbor feelings for me, it's deep, deep, deep down. I think they're pretty freaking cute. I had a crush on them when I was a kid, like really bad. But I fall for people pretty easy, and I don't think that love is just between two people. I think you can love a lot of different people, and I don't know, something about you.
I think
There's-
she. Sorry.
um, they just go, you're still a little bit human still. And I think that's kind of cool.
I think her expression softens at that. Like she stops squinting at you so hard. And she says, okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think that I can see that.
Yeah.
Um, sorry, I didn't mean to
Oh,
hit
it's
a ball
fine.
in your face about it. It's even down here for as short or as long as I am, it's very hard to trust people, and it's hard to know what people want from you because everyone wants something from you, or they don't talk to you at all. And if people talk to you, it means they want something from you, and it's hard to
Rook,
shake that.
as they're going on,
Uh-huh.
takes their hand and holds it. I just met you. There's no intent from me to want anything from you other than just know who you are.
Okay. And she like holds their hand back.
I don't know. And they just like flip over some words like, I don't know. When I saw you, it's just like, you're pretty. And you're kind of new here, but like, you still had something for you that like, there's like a little spark there somewhere. And I think we all could really use that. So hold on to the dancing, singing person you know you are. I think that's really important to remember that.
Lorna squeezes their hand at that and genuinely smiles this time and says, let's grab a drink while we wait for Anya to finish up.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
And we can end the scene there unless you want
Yeah.
anything else.
No, I think that's good.
Cool.
Cool. Did you generate any dice?
I think, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. There's some bonds forming.
Well, did you generate a die through making or taking a bargain?
No.
Okay.
But I think we can move an alienation die to the community pool for
Absolutely.
the bond forming.
Absolutely. I think both of us can do that.
Oh.
So you can take alienation die away from yours and put one in the community dice. And the community dice are looking really, really good. That said, I did question the methods of those around me. And it did come from a very selfish place, so I might add another alienation die.
That's fair.
Because it was I don't know if I can trust Rook, especially right now. I don't really trust anyone, and now Rook is being very friendly and nice and sweet, and they're probably plotting something because everyone is plotting something always. And how well do I really know Rook? And it turned out fine in the end, which is why really that gets generated into the alienation pool and then gets moved to the the community pool.
I agree. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, that was totally perfect with your character too. So just like, Rick's like, what do you mean? I just think you're cute. There's no intention. I don't know anybody here except for Jackal.
Squint. Cool.
Justifiable.
I think that just leaves Rowan.
Me, yes.
Yeah.
So after that whole debacle on the factory floor, I I think the next moment that I'd kind of like to see is Rowan and Jackal and probably Anya as well, moving the thing that broke and trying to figure out where to put it and what to do with it. And we're finding a way to get it out of the trash pile and somewhere where we can store it until Lorna gets back so that we can put it down in the hidey hole. And Rowan kind of uncharacteristically looks a little subdued. And he just glances over at Jackal and is like, "You doing okay?"
I'm fine. And they're not fine. They're very roughed up. Face is starting to swell. Got some cuts and scrapes and stuff. But they're not saying too much about it.
Anya hasn't said anything either, but she's very pointedly not giving Jackal anything to hold, like, or to move or to do anything. Like, this is dirty equipment, and she knows what that will do to an open wound.
Yeah.
And she's just sort of quietly going through what I think as she went to fix stuff, she pilfered small things like in her hand while they were focused on Jackal, and got some of them out that way, and then the rest would have loosened up. So when they threw it in the pile, I think she would have tried to rig it so it would fall apart when she was messing with it. So that way, instead of having to dig through and disassemble things to get parts they needed, it's already gone. So she's pointing to Rowan like, okay, that's gear there, and sort of going through and going, as I'm guessing we're just like by a big dumpster.
That would be my assumption, yeah.
Yeah,
That works.
Couple of big dumpster piles out
Just some-
back, and we're
just some guys
Okay.
in the trash.
Y'all are gonna have to give me something eventually. I can't just stand here much longer. Please.
You're looking out for people, Jackal.
You've done
It's good enough.
more than
You're
enough.
looking out for people. You're done more. Shut up and just give me a scrap of metal to hold.
So you can feel special. Here you go. Here's a gear for you. Do you feel?
Thank you. I feel overwhelmingly helpful right now.
Okay, don't
Thanks.
hold it in that hand though, because you'll get. I don't know how infections work down here. I'm afraid it'll be forever.
What am I gonna do? Die again? Go to
I mean, no,
soup-
but you would have like
Would I
you'd
go
have
to second
gangrene
hell
in your
or something?
hand forever.
They've got a point.
Now, just to sate your curiosity, I'm just gonna hold it in my good. Okay, it's in my good hand, Doctor Anya.
Great. She
Thank
goes
you.
back.
We can't get down there without Lorna. So
Shit.
That is the thing.
where are
have
we
to
gonna
do.
put this?
I think we can maybe we stash it behind the dumpster or on the top so we can get it easily.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're just so devoted that you just couldn't see it all thrown away and you had to fix it on your off time because you're just so shining and brilliant.
No, because then they would just put it back inside and use it again.
Ah, fuck me.
They won't replace it if they think they don't have to. It's cheap. They'll use broken equipment forever.
Ask Rook that. That ain't me.
All right, then we should, I guess, like you said, try to section off or something, put it to the side or a way that we know that that's what we should pick up and toss in
I'm gonna
the hole
see.
or whatever.
I think Anya's gonna rig up something that's not. It's gonna be a little suspicious, perhaps, but it is where she'll get the wheels that they would need, which are probably less wheels and more like stuff that would have a conveyor belt, but you could purpose into some kind of thing so that when we do get it, we can just pull it out and roll it. So she kind of like, as soon as you say we need Lorna, she like switches gears and starts putting it together that way.
Cool.
Someone should go find them wherever they went.
Yeah. Would we have any idea where they would have gone at all?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it stands to reason that Anya might be able to guess where Lorna would go.
Okay, if Lorna's like gone before after a shift.
Yeah,
Then
I think that makes
then
sense.
Anya. You think they might have gone for a drink
Oh,
to get out of
all right. That makes
that?
sense. And Rowan's just gonna dump everything that Anya gave him to hold kind of in front of her and hop out of the dumpster.
She like fits whatever pieces she can together and then lifts it back into the dumpster. Wipes off the grease off her hands on her clothes. All right, we head over.
I guess so. And they put like whatever extra gears or what they were holding in their pockets or in places.
Cool.
Cool.
So yeah.
I think that's a good place to draw that scene to an end.
Mhm.
Unless you have anything more you want to do with it.
I'm a little messy and I kind of want us to walk in while you're holding hands.
Ooh.
Sure.
But
All
we don't
right.
have to do that if that's tension that
Oh
I
no,
think you're
that's
muted.
It
fine.
was muted. Yeah, I'm down with that. We can grab
Cool with
drinks
that.
and go back to holding hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, they-
cool with that.
Sure.
Yeah.
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 So
do a little
we make our way down there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Get into the bar.
Is that still in the same scene?
I think
Yeah,
I
we're
think
still
so,
missing-
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
think this is-
making
I think
logic.
there's
we're-
gonna
we're just
be a
adding,
little
yeah.
a little coda before we do
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
the dice
yeah,
roll.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It shouldn't go on too long because we are also coming up on time.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah.
That's fine.
Cool.
Yeah, so I think they're walking in and Anya has a rag and she's just like wiping grease off of Jackal.
Mhm.
And like in like an angry motherly way. Not like an inviting one, but just like this
Just
is
fussy.
ridiculous. You are going to you have to keep yourself clean
It's-
and yeah.
Would-
What infection? What we already talked gangrene. What amputation? What else could happen to me? And then that's when
Which
like,
gives Rowan the opportunity to walk straight over, put an arm on each of their shoulders, lean on them.
Anya leans
Had
over
a
to
nice
Jackal.
time, you two.
What do you
think
think is going
Lorna-
on? What do you think this is?
I
Lorna
don't know what
immediately
the
like
hell's
shoulders
going
out
on.
of the way because she doesn't know who's behind her. She like turns around ready to slap whoever it is and sees it's Rowan. Oh,
Oh, hey.
hi. Is we're fine. We're just hiding. I have nothing.
Yep.
Hiding.
Drinks.
Drinks.
Are we still holding hands, by the way?
No, I think Lorna let go to try to slap Rowan
Yeah.
before she
Yeah,
realized
yeah.
it was Rowan.
Yeah. Good. I kind of had that feeling, but just had to confirm that's
Yeah.
what was going on.
Yeah. Did
So
you-
we've got some stuff,
Oh.
unless you're busy.
Nope.
No.
We're not busy, right?
No, I think they're plenty
No.
busy.
Nope, we're not busy.
We're just
Let's-
drinks. We're good.
Yeah, let's go. Let's
Yeah,
go.
drinks.
Let's go.
Let's let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Cool.
Oh,
Rowan's
Anya
just
is
sitting
just
back and
the
watching the
most
chaos
delighted
now.
eye contact with Lorna right now.
Lorna is trying so hard not to be on his eyes as best she can.
Jackal's wiping off blood off a scrape or something, and just like that's suddenly the My bruises are more important right now. Just checking those out.
Yeah.
Rook looks over to Giles like, oh, you always made a mess. Look at you. Nothing's changed.
Excuse me.
You've got blood on you. You always have blood
There's
on you.
nothing. Exactly. That's nothing new. What are you worried about?
I mean, I'm always worried about you. That's why I'm down here, dummy.
We should move.
We should
not
have
be
a
in
cut.
here having
Yeah,
this
we
I
discussion.
think
should-
I think we're like moving at this point, like
Yeah,
walking
it's
back.
not a scuffling.
This is happening as they leave.
Yeah, we're
Rowan
just sitting on
wanders over to-
stools,
Yeah.
having a drink.
As y'all are like fussing, Rowan like wanders over to the jukebox, pokes at it. Tainted Love comes on.
And then we walk out, fade out.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool,
I guess.
cool.
Great. Dice generation. Now it's all of us who became part of that scene. Did anyone generate a die?
I think I creatively solved a problem.
Did you do it for the community or for yourself? Which
Didn't
problem
do it
was
for, I don't get any benefit from building a little bike to get somebody out of here. I just was drawing attention to myself.
Oh, we haven't built it yet.
No, we haven't built it, but like anything that is evidence of that is not necessarily in
Okay.
Anya's self-interest.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sure. Go ahead and add a die to the community pool. I don't think Lorna generated a die. I don't think she questioned any methods in that short moment. Does anyone else think they generated a die or shifted dice through new bonds or shifted bonds?
I don't think so. For Jackal.
Okay. Cool. So now it is time to roll the dice and see how well this goes. Good news is we have one. Let me look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 community dice,
Hey, let's go.
which is pretty good. Okay. There is a 6 in the community dice. Did anyone else roll a 6 on their alienation dice? Okay. I did roll a 6 on my alienation dice, but just one. So we go down to 5 at that point. There are 2 5s in the community dice. Did anyone roll a 5? One? Just one?
No, there's two.
Two.
Oh,
No, but I
It's-
mean,
Oh.
Jackal just rolled 1 and Rowan rolled 1.
okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Whew.
That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. There are no 4s in the community dice. But I did roll a 4 on my alienation die.
No.
We're having a time.
We're very bad at this. We had the odds
had
were so in our
so
favor.
many.
Okay. That's unfortunate. All right, let's see what happens with this outcome again. Decide as a group, how is this challenge undoubtedly a failure? How is there, despite that, a glimmer of hope for the future? I mean,
We didn't plan what parts or say what parts.
Yeah,
Just kind
it's-
of like,
it's got to be the wrong parts, right?
My
Yeah.
thought is we go back and it's gone out of the dumpster. Dumpster's emptied.
oh,
yeah,
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 that's
yeah.
real good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
because that can drive into the next session. Be like, we got to go find our parts.
Yeah.
And who took the parts?
Or
I like-
did they get emptied and we need to break a whole nother thing?
I like the image of them going back to find it empty and Lorna just hearing like the fates laughing in her head. Not like they did it, but like obviously they knew it was gonna happen, and it's
Two
very
fates are
amusing to
laughing.
them.
One is still humming Tainted Love.
Absolutely
Yes.
cool. So with that, how is there, despite that, a glimmer of hope for the future? I feel like you kind of just said it, Anya, or was it Anya who said it? I can't remember exactly who said it, but the idea that it is something that may still be trackable. It doesn't
Oh, that
seem
was
like
Rook.
it.
Yeah.
That
That was me.
Sorry.
You're good. I
Yeah,
forgot I
unless
said that for a second too. So
That's
that's the
okay.
only reason I didn't chime in.
Unless anyone else has a different idea for how this could be framed narratively, there's also the glimmer of hope that it wasn't traced back to us, despite Jack.
Despite how messy that was.
And
I
Rowan.
think that was also
causing
part
a
of the
scene.
failure there.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like Rowan not listening and doing his own, like, you told me to do the thing, I'll go do the thing, without like paying attention to the fact that it might not actually be now.
Yeah.
And then Jackal not having enough information.
Cool. Okay, so the parts have gone missing, but they still exist as far as we know. We may still find them. We're not all locked up somewhere because of what happened. There is still hope for the future. Remove any community dice that rolled a 1 from the pool. There was 1-1. So that will have to be taken out from the community pool, unfortunately, but that is just 1. So we still have 7. And then after that, any character who has alienation dice that are equal to the number used to resolve the challenge or higher chooses to either take some kind of power or advantage for themselves in a way that makes narrative sense, or keep the dice as they are and lose a bit of hope, confidence, and or feelings of camaraderie in the cause. So anyone who rolled a 4, a 5, or a 6 gets to make that decision. Which I know Lorna did, obviously, but I think someone else did too.
It was
I think
me.
Jacqueline Rowan both did. Yeah.
Jackal's gonna hold dice because it feels like they got thrashed for nothing if the parts are gone and the plot didn't necessarily go through. Got a wasted beating.
Yeah, and Rowan is also going to lose a little bit of confidence because this feels like they felt like they were doing exactly what they were supposed to. They felt like they were doing really well. And now it's all broken down. And they are starting to respect Jackal enough that they feel bad for setting that up on them. So they're like, is this really the way now?
Yeah. I think Lorna is also losing confidence. She'll keep the dice as they are as well. I think she was already starting to lose confidence from how Jackal and Rowan immediately went into the plan without any communication, which isn't necessarily Rowan's fault, but she also doesn't know that right away. But there is definitely confidence in the group's ability to function cohesively. That confidence is dropping by the minute. And with that, I think we can draw our first session to a close. So let's go around real quick. Remind everyone who you are, where they can find you, and plug what you want to plug. Let's start with Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel. You can find me on the internet at Ms. Petty Dreadful. I'm usually playing games over at Tablegoth. Keep a lookout because some vampire stuff is coming your way soon. I don't know when the announcement will be, so just keep an eye out until that gets released. I say go watch Hades High School because it's great. It's over on Tablegoth on YouTube.
Vin.
Hi guys, I'm Vin at VinVoxVA. I'm a voice actor who just happened to be a tabletop streamer too. Catch me Saturday for the last episode of this fucking fantastic 3-shot over on Stella Luna, Trouble in the Second City New Blood. It is not Monster of the Week. It's an Urban Shadows 2E game. Amazing. Just a fantastic time. And if you still want to stick around and see me do more Urban Shadows things, I'm in a longer campaign called Somehow Human. That'll be on Mondays on Chatterbox AVA. The first episode just got put on YouTube. So that's me.
Raven.
Hey everyone, I'm Raven Kennedy. I appear on most socials as at Scott Blackbird. I attempt to stream very occasionally on the channel We Are Games with my partner Zeke, who is one of the moderators here. We also do a lot of ARG stuff over on that account. We're working on a whole bunch of things right now. They've got some in-person stuff going on right now where they are, but we're getting more online in the near future. So if you keep an eye on that stuff and enjoy sort of horror focused, let's be real, we're on this channel, you all enjoy horror focused stuff. If you enjoy sort of a horror focused, spooky, puzzly type of thing, then give us a shout.
And Elliot.
Hi, I'm Elliot. I've been Rook, your blue-haired they, them. And you can find me on the internet at Chaos Them for where all my social media updates are. But if you like to hear me scream about things, you can find me at Chaos Elliot. And I'm not actually screaming about things, but that's like, you know, where my shit posts are. And as for where I will be here tomorrow night on the Kingdom Hearts TTRPG playing Jim Hawkins. I'm so excited about that because I love Treasure Planet, and I've been asking Nick, hey, so so I will be there tomorrow. Where you can find me elsewhere too. I am on Beholder to No One's podcast they just released for today. We were playing, gosh darn it, we were playing Trash Mob, and the episode is up now. And you can also listen to a past episode with me and Nikki talking about flawed characters in TTRPGs. So yeah, I'm on Beholder to No One's podcast. You'll see me a couple more times probably. And yeah, you'll find me here tomorrow. Please come watch Kingdom Hearts show if you enjoyed my role playing, and in general, just go watch a Kingdom Hearts show. So it's so good. It's so good. I love lurking and watching. Usually someone says something and I'm like, and then I go back to lurking. Okay.
Cool. And I've been Zoe. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Twillick43. You can also find me on the Discord at Caring Comfort Studios Discord, where I'm posting a lot on there. Speaking of which, why don't you join the Discord and join the community? It's a great community with a lot of cool people and a lot of cool things happening all the time. You can also find me tomorrow here on this channel in Kingdom Hearts Interstitial War, playing Captain Amelia, which I'm very excited about, and which is also a great segue into a few announcements before we leave. The next episode of Kingdom Hearts premieres tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be there. Elliot's going to be there. All your favorite people are going to be there. It's going to be a great, great episode. Normally, Mezzanine happens on Sundays. This Sunday, there will be no Mezzanine, but it will be back next Sunday. We also have sponsors. We have Dice Envy as a sponsor. They make wonderful dice. I have some dice of theirs on their way. They're not here yet, but I'm very excited. And other people who have their dice really enjoy them. There's also Callow, who makes supplements like Q Sleep and Q Focus, which I do use and do enjoy. Q Focus is what I took to make it through this because I work all day, and I would not be able to make it until midnight doing a stream without something to give me a boost, and that is not a lie. It's good stuff. I enjoy it. I actually need to remember to get more. We have a Patreon that you can join with multiple tiers that give you special benefits as part of the community. There is a Patreon tier for the Discord where you can watch cool movies with Wes. There's a tier where you can play games with Wes running. Right now, they're working on the Witcher RPG. So if you join the Patreon at that level, you can play the Witcher RPG. You can also buy merch. I believe Wes is posting the links in the chat, which is good. Thirst Trap Mothman.threadless, I think it is, if I remember correctly. There's a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool shirts, a lot of cool merch for Kingdom Hearts, for a bunch of shows. I'm trying to remember them off the top of my head. My brain is starting to get that good old brain fog. But I have some merch. I have some cool shirts. It's a great place to get some cool clothes. And we also have a YouTube channel. You can subscribe to the YouTube and see videos when they get uploaded, so you don't have to necessarily watch the Twitch VOD. Everything is pretty much always getting uploaded on YouTube. Typically about a few days to a week after the fact, from what I've seen. So you can always catch things there forever, because everything on the internet is forever. And that is it for the announcement. So we will see you next Thursday, same time, same channel. And remember, comfort comes soon.